Hello and welcome to Startup Show. My name is Jonathan Mulenga. Now today on the show we've got an interesting story on how we're doing as a nation in promoting locally made drones, or rather on how we're doing as a nation in promoting what I would call the aviation sector so that it blooms. With me on the studio is an expert in this field. His name is James Chama. James Chama is a CEO and co-founder of Goliath Aerospace technology here in Zambia. Mr. James, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's good to have you on the show. Now, before we dive into the main topic, first of all, my main interest, as in on my personal aspect, is I want to know more about you. Because when I was growing up, I always dreamed of being a doctor, even being a pilot of some sort. Because how did you find yourself in this field?
All right. Well, basically, it started from childhood, though it was basically an engineering field, although I didn't even know that I want to do engineering at that point. But the exposure that I got from my environment, and maybe my parents played a big role, going such as to the airport and the programs that I watched on TV. I was a big fan of National Geographic Channel. So things like how are things made, mega engineering projects and all those things got into my conscious mind without me knowing at an earlier that stage that I wanted to do engineering. So I was brainwashed, if I can say, from a young age. And so from there it became my passion, and also I ventured into small projects, and also in high school where we did certain practical work. I was at David Kaunda Technical School, and there metal work was one of my favorite subjects, and technical or geometrical engineering drawings. Moving on from that, I went on to university. By then also I had already decided that I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. So in university I also participated in clubs which promoted innovation, and also sports. I was a big fan of sports such as soccer and mountain biking. So when I went to university, that's in China, at Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics, it was very much focused on aerospace. And so the exposure that I got there was overwhelming. And in my third year, that's when now I decided that I wanted to focus more on UAVs, UAV technology. And from there onwards, I started to make recreational drones and also experimenting from my own pocket money at that time. And by the time I completed, I was still doing a few experiments here and there, trying to know how to program the drones, and also having a background in computer software was very helpful.
Interesting. So just to take you back, you talked about pure sciences in school. So now, how important are such courses, in our development, in our progression, as in pupils, students, how important should we take such courses in schools? I'm trying to first not talk about your experience in China where you did your undergraduate, but I'm looking at your high school, because you're saying you had interest in such a field when you were young.
Yes.
So now let's talk about how important are such courses. Should you take one who is doing pure classes to venture to such a field, or even normal courses like science courses?
If you want to venture into engineering, I would urge you to take pure sciences. That's a must, because it's very important that you learn the basics and the concepts for you to actually be meaningful. Like in high school, I had my challenges in mathematics. That was my 9th grade. I had very much big-time challenges in, I'm not sure what the syllabus is, but I had challenges. So I was getting about 40-50%. No. So what I did during my break, that was in August, I really thought through it, that what can I do to improve my grades. So in my 8th grade, I decided, okay, let me go back.
Yeah.
I decided to start doing my grade 7 work.
Okay.
I asked for the syllabus, and I started from there, and also my grade 8 work, integers, real numbers, and all those things. So I gained back the basic concepts of mathematics, and my grades drastically changed to distinction, just because of now gaining the concepts of mathematics. So when you say how important are the pure subjects, you gain to have the concepts of physics, of biology, of chemistry. If you cannot explain what an atom is, the basics, going forward, it will be difficult for you to do things like I've forgotten some of the topics, but there is that difficult topic at the end of the syllabus. If you do not know the basics, you will fail.
Definitely fail.
You will fail in it. So even math is a combination of different things. The integers, the real numbers. When you are solving a problem, even though you have not been taught, if you know the basics, there is a possible way that you can try and solve it, and then you are given, as they call it, A for effort, because you made an effort rather than just leaving it blank straight away. And then also in high school, doing metal work and also participating in JETS programs. For instance, metal work, the basics that I got, like marking out tools, using the CNC machine and lathe machine, that helped me. When I finished high school, I decided to make a jet engine, though I didn't bring the parts there for it. I went to an alley behind in town. They used to fix cars. It was by a foreigner. And I just told him I want to work on a project. I want to make a jet engine. And I just showed him some diagrams. And also, I'm grateful for the big companies to make some of their software free. So I also designed a simple software. Though at this point, with my knowledge now, I know that it couldn't work. But at that time, due to the dreams, I just went ahead and did it. So having that background in high school, knowing how to operate a lathe machine, CNC, knowing about metal and the type of metal that you need, the basic concepts of if you use this metal, this is what will happen. If you use this, this is what will happen. And also having a background in how to research. If you are used to studying, you get to have an insight on an idea of how to approach a problem. So if you do not get into these sciences which try to break your mind to solve things, when you grow up, you have challenges in solving issues. Even right now, if someone brought a problem to me, like fix my computer or do something like this, there's a pattern of how you are supposed to deal with it. So going back to your question, sciences, all those subjects that you do in high school, they help you open up your mind to how you are supposed to approach life. Yes, sir.
I think the point I've gotten is, we're doing fine as a nation in terms of preparing our kids.
Yes, sir.
On the primary level, high school level, for them to get exposed.
Yes.
I think that's a good point. But now let's talk about your experience in China, of course, in this field. How practical is the education system there in China? How exposed are you based on their knowledge? How do you rate their way of trainings, or rather teaching, as compared to our education system?
There it's like it's miles ahead, because their exposure is similar to what I got, where you are given some DIY, do-it-yourself projects, and that for them it's like often, and they have JETS programs. Even in university, they had these clubs in which you have the university sponsoring those kids or students to experiment and the like. Well, here in Zambia, there's not so much of money being given to experiment, because there's fear it will be wasted. But for you to achieve certain goals, you have to experiment in life. person who I know very well who has experimented and achieved a lot is Elon Musk.
Yeah. Elon Musk.
Yes, he has blown up quite a number of rockets. The recent one is the S10, and there have been 3 projects which have been launched before. But for him, the most important thing was that the data that he gathered from those failed tests, he doesn't even call them failed tests, that's still a success, because what he was trying to do was gather information. Yes, because even the type of material that is being used is not the original main material.
Okay.
Yes, and it's more of a prototype. So we need, in Zambia, compared to China also, where they give kids or even students to be creative and give them that environment. Which is not so much happening here. So, and also there's a bit of mindset which has to start from high school, and what someone wants. It's also about being also motivated to hold on to your goals and dreams, because it's very difficult. You have those lazy days, and at times those lazy days hold on to you for a very long time. So they have managed, they have money, they have the muscle power to expose their kids. We have to find a way to do that as well here.
As a nation, yes. Because what I've noticed is Chinese, they bring up their kids from the fundamental, what I would call the base itself. They're able to identify the kid to say, this one can be a profession in even in sports.
Yes, yes.
So they try to build them up from the low-level basis to like. I think that's one thing which we need to also do as a nation. I think the reason maybe why we're not doing that, maybe it's the financial capacity or the resources that are involved in. Because we look at such superpower countries, without the world call them.
Yes, yes.
And they even got their own universities where
for
they're
special
just sending
kids.
their kids for special kids. Yeah, I think that's one thing which we need to do as a nation. But I mean, why not doing it in your own thoughts? Because for me, maybe other than maybe the financial capacity, does it make the culture itself or what?
I think I would say majorly it's the financial capacity, and again, every time it always boils down to management, which comes from Ministry of Education. What's their plan? What's their goal for them to achieve what they want? China had a plan about 50 years ago. In the 90s, Zambia was richer than China.
Yeah, it's true.
But now look at the economy. There's Jing Mao, maybe the name is incorrect. He started these policies, the reform changes. What reform changes do we have now which are good drivers for us to achieve something? And these are reform changes of when you change the government, you again change the policy. The policy you had in the 90s, for you to achieve them now, they have to be the same. You keep on changing, you are starting from scratch, and you eventually won't achieve something. So
initially, I think we need to change the education system, and that's what you're trying to apply. Right?
The education system might, in certain places, is okay, but the policy is not strong. Yes, it's not strong and not so oriented towards kids making it in life, breaking through. Because even in China also, maybe they might be advanced, but they have their weaknesses. In terms of also their sort of education system, I don't blame them due to the population. It's tough competition. So most of the kids are crammed into studying very hard because your neighbor is your competition. So it's very difficult. So you even find some of them that are taking their kids to Canada or the USA because of their education system. But also the Canadians and USA students admire the Chinese because they are so bright and intelligent. But it's at a cost. So I can say we should adopt the West and the East, because the East, they're very, as we know, they're very intelligent and smart because of their process. But the West is more of a creative nature, because even those buildings in China, most of them are developed by the West, but they're built by the Chinese. Those nice buildings you see in Shanghai, some of them are built by architects from Germany. Oh, they're designed, sorry, by
they're
architects.
designed,
Yeah, architects from Germany, and the Chinese build them. So you need creativity and hard work to achieve those goals.
Okay. So should we need to balance the policies which we copy from the West and also the East?
Yes,
so
yes.
when we combine that, then we become more of a hybrid nation in short.
Yes, yes.
So that's the point which I think we need to look at as a nation.
Yes,
right?
yeah. Not only that, maybe if I might sidetrack a bit, I would say food has a role to play. Food nutrition. There's a lot of malnutrition in Africa, so the brain is also not developed enough.
So we need to also eat Chinese food.
No, we need to eat
like
nutritious food for our brains also to develop. Okay. It's important from the onset go at the age of a month. In terms of talking of months to 5 years, this is a critical part. You miss out this part in terms of nutrition. No matter how much books you give to your child, no matter the tutors you give to your child won't understand because you have messed up the brain.
Okay, that's interesting. I think I'm lucky. My parents give me proper nutrition because I'm not that down. So that's interesting. I think you had a lot of nutrition, food when you were growing up.
Well, I was lucky.
What I would call it's one of the difficult, I think, profession based on other professions.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Now let's go back to your, I would call it company. I don't know if I should call it company or
yes.
What you are running, Goliath, aerospace technology. Give us a brief background of this and what inspired you to open it, other than, of course, your childhood background where you're very much into all these crafty things.
Yes.
So tell us about this organization of yours, or rather a company.
How
should I call it? A company?
Yes, it's a company. It's a registered company under partnership. I, James Chama, I'm a co-founder with Mulenga Kaunda. He's an accountant, and I'm the aeronautical engineer. So if I can say technology engineer of the company, and he basically deals with the financial parts of the company. So we are bringing together the technology and financial management for the business to be sustainable. So how this started was more of when I completed my university studies, I was looking for work at that time. I applied several places and also did some training at corporate air as a maintenance engineer. I worked for about 5 months, and I looked at the environment. It was not so impressive to what I would like. I wanted to stay there in China for a bit longer and move to Germany, but due to certain situations, I had to first come back home and maybe restart a bit. So even upon trying to leave, I started actually learning German. I even bought the books and took up online courses. I wanted to travel to Germany and settle there. But the good thing is that, as I've said, I was also being practical in nature, doing few experiments. And I explained to one of my cousins who also informed his colleagues at ZAF. And then I did a presentation there, and they were impressed and requested for a prototype. And when I left, also I decided to look into this, and I saw that, okay, there's a niche. And the more I looked into it, with also the agriculture that I was doing from home, there's a sizable piece of land. So I was also doing agriculture, like growing the rape, Chinese, tomatoes. And so it now became like I could integrate agriculture and engineering as one, and which is the UAVs, which make things more efficient. And so I decided to register the company, also with a co-founder to help me out in management. And so that's how the company now started. Basically initially we wanted to go logistic ways, but due to regulations and also finances, we saw maybe the agriculture and forestry industry, though basically at that time agriculture industry was much better to begin with.
Okay. Now, looking at your profession, you worked for 5 months, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay. It's not what I would call a common profession in Zambia. Is it because maybe it's very difficult to have access to jobs? If you look at the rate of unemployment which you have in Zambia, where else can you work? But for me, I think the only what I would call place where I can work is in ZAF. Do you have companies that can?
We have, there are a few companies indeed, but also this type of syllabus that you do in university helps you. So like you do the design, because I majored in design and manufacturing of aircrafts. Okay. So that design part can also help you in other engineering, mechanical engineering companies that do some sort of design. So you can be there to do some stress analysis of machines, and also at ZESCO, you can be there to assess the turbines.
Okay.
Yes, and maybe depending if there's a research and development department at ZESCO, you can also work in there. So it's more of researching what kind of turbines would you try to make or modify to suit your environment. Wind turbines is another place. So some of these things that I'm talking about is what's not existing. Let me just say there are a few places, and you just have to change your dance to the music, according to the music.
Okay, so the good part about maybe what I would call the education which people tend to get abroad is that it's very broad in terms of the knowledge. So you don't have to be just a manufacturer of aircrafts. You can work under ZESCO, those turbines which you have talked about. So you can work in other places, just have to know how you can sell yourself.
Yes, that's why it's important to, when you are in university, you take at least most subjects very serious and try to be very good at it. Because the things that when I was at university, I was being told that some of these you learn them when you are working. You just leave it, you learn it. Why are you stressing yourself? But if you don't really get the basics there, you don't really open your mind to what you can actually do. So you are going to have that narrow vision that this is what I can do. Your path is so small. But if you take things serious, you would really know how big your market is or where you would fit in. So it's anyone can fit anywhere, if I can say. It's just the application of your knowledge.
Okay, yes. Let's talk about the products and services which you offer as Goliath Aerospace Technology. Run us through some of the products and services which you offer.
All right. So right now, what we're offering is what I call the Eka farming, which is mostly to do with the agriculture part of it. So what we have done so far, we have partnered with real estate agents, and also we plan to partner with recruiters. So these will be recruiters for agricultural labor workers, and also the real estate agents will be for land, which is now the agriculture part. So this is the customer journey. So you first need land, and you need laborers. Then in that we've also integrated a system, which is a management web-based system for you to bring all these things together. So here you have now your drones.
That's what you have, actually. I'm interested in seeing.
So these are some of the drones. So this is for recreation. This one will just help you. You can, I can actually just remove it. This just will help you with getting hands-on and training, so that you know how to maneuver the drone and use it. So this one has a camera.
This is a drone?
Yes. That's a drone. There are even actually smaller drones than these made by the US military. Those are more of spy drones. So it's as small as your thumb, which can fly. And very expensive, $42,000.
This one?
Something smaller than that.
And this one, how much does it cost?
This one's about 650 kwacha.
650.
Yeah,
That's
so
very
it,
affordable.
yeah.
So where can I use this? And
This one is for like children and also indoor flying, just to practice and have a feel of how it is.
okay.
And then you have this one is by Seafly. There are different makers. So this one is you just hold like this. So this one has a camera up there, and so this one is for taking pictures like if you have a real estate property, for safari outings. If you want to advertise something, this has a very good quality picture, just to get to capture the audience that you want to get. And there are more types. So there are different types of drones and different ranges. So some we do design and manufacture them according to your needs. So customization, if I may say. And then some will be like these consumable ones where we help you get them. So from acquiring them to also just do some consultation in how you can do the registration and import them.
So this one, how much is it?
This one's 7,000 kwacha.
7,000 kwacha.
Yes. So how these work, this is, if I can say, this is our minimum viable product. So this one here is a soil meter.
Okay.
This soil meter measures the moisture and the light and the pH of the soil. These are very important for you to at least to know when you are growing your maize, your rape. You need to have those details. Now,
so
maize,
I just have to
just
plant
it in the soil and put it there, and then you know you gain data. So our next stage is to have this with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. And then you put them in the maize field. Then the drone will fly over this large field, which is maybe 4 hectares or more, and collect that data for you to make those decisions.
Okay, interesting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is very interesting, actually, in the agriculture, especially in the agriculture sector. How can small-scale farmers have access to this? Because in Zambia, the majority of farmers are small-scale farmers. So how affordable is this?
Affordability is quite a bit tricky. It's more about investments. You have to look at the long term.
Okay.
So when you invest into technology right now, it will help you beat the market, and it will help you increase your yield. You have to look at moving from small scale to medium scale to large scale. So you can come up together as it is cooperatives to buy the equipment you need and also for the services that you need to increase your capacity. So that's also the management platform that we also provide, which brings about transparent for everything that you do to be transparent and traceable. So that's in the agriculture and forestry industry. So in one of the forestry part is we are doing a joint forestry community-based system where we help communities in forestry manage the forest, because they are competing with the mines who have money. But when you have such resources that you can manage efficiently in a digital manner, right now it's more of manual paperwork. They have stacks of manual work and have to go around in the fields, but we are helping them gather and evaluate that data.
Okay. All right. Mr. James Chama, you've been very productive, and you're totally an expert in your field. So let's just hear, I think, one last question which I have for you is, how can you acquire a license in Zambia? Can I fly a drone anywhere, anyhow, or I need to have a license of some sort?
You definitely need to have a license, but maybe for something like small as this, because it does not pose much of harm, you don't need a license for this. But when you upgrade to something like this one, because you're also flying in a public area, so you need to have the basic knowledge of how you should fly it, how far you should be from people and obstacles, and also in certain areas you do not have to fly. So you have to attend the flying school, and then from there you apply at CA, Civil Aviation Authority, for a license, which is about 350, and then you write the exams. And if you want to operate as a business, you also get an operation license, which is about 7,000 kwacha.
Okay.
Then you are good to go to be an operator.
Okay.
Yes.
Any fun words you'd like to inform the viewers? How can they get hold of you or have access to your products and services?
So you can reach us out on Goliath Aerotech, goliathAerotech.online. That's our website. And also you can reach us on Facebook at Goliath Aerospace Technology. You can get our contact details on our website and also Facebook page. And you can send us an email or call us, and we'll be glad to help you.
Mr. James, thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
I'll definitely invite you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that was James Chama. James Chama is Goliath Aerospace Technology CEO and co-founder. That's what we had for you on Startup. Please join us next time, same time, present viewing.